Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Flynn and I am the owner and maker of Flynn Sisters Boutique. And today I am going to show you how to glitter and epoxy mason jars. I'm also going to show you how to make a matching cute little 3D cup topper. I've been seeing these everywhere. I know I'm late to the party, but you guys have been asking me to do a tutorial with my spin on this design, so here we are. I think glittering and epoxying these glass mason jars is a great way to practice if you're just starting out because they're really inexpensive. You can get a whole bunch of them for under $20. So I hope this video is helpful. And if you're new to my channel, make sure that you hit subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss a new video. I upload every Wednesday and Saturday. All the products that you see in this video are going to be listed and linked down below in the description box. You might even find some discount codes for you there as well. You'll also find links to all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have a lot of fun on TikTok, so go see us there. That's enough chit chat for me. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, you guys, so we're gonna get started. This is an asparagus jar. That's what they're called. It's like, I wanna say probably a 20-ounce jar. These come in packs from Walmart, and I have not been able to find the packs online in all these years. And when I do find them online, they're really expensive. So you'll want to actually go into the Walmart to find these. Again, they are asparagus canning jars. Okay, and I've just put my turner arm on here. Now these are my arms from the Bowen on Etsy. This is who makes my cup turners and all my cup turner accessories. I can't remember what size chuck this is that fits into here, but anyhow, we're just going to get that in there. And then I've got just some regular old electrical tape, and we're going to tape off the top. This really takes me back to when I first started making cups. I made a lot of these little mason jar tumblers, and I always taped off the tops of my cups when I first started. So I'm just gonna run my tape line right along that bottom lip there so that some of my tape is on the actual side of the jar, okay? So we're gonna bring it all the way around. And then when I get to the end here, we're just gonna trim it off with our scissors. You do wanna make sure that this is a pretty straight line with your tape because this line is going to determine where our base paint, starts on the jar. Okay, and then I like to just put a little tab there with my tape so that it's easy to remove later. Then to prep the glass, it's a lot like prepping stainless steel. All right, so I've got a 60 grit sanding block here, and we're just going to rough up the surface of our glass a bit. Make sure you get the bottom. And kind of around this top rim really well. And then I'm just going to spray it down with some rubbing alcohol, and then we'll dry it off. What we're trying to do here is to create a nice surface for our epoxy and our paint to adhere to. All right, and then once I've got that all cleaned up, I'm ready to spray paint my base color. All right, and so for my base paint today, I'm gonna start with Rust-Oleum Flat White Spray Paint, and then I'm gonna follow it up with Rust-Oleum 2x Sunshine Yellow, I think this is called. This is a gloss spray paint, but it's totally fine. I did paint the white first just because this yellow can be a little translucent, and this is so I only have to do one coat of the yellow, and it's gonna turn out looking great. All right, so the paint on my mason jar is all dry. I still have the original tape that we had when we spray painted. And don't worry if you get a little paint up here, we can just remove that later. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my glitter. I am using Alumilite's Amazing Quick Coat Epoxy to apply my glitter today. And I've already mixed up 5 milliliters of it. So I just marked my cup at the 2.5 mark and the 5 point mark of my medicine cup here, and then mixed both sides together until there were no more ribbons and it was pretty clear, which is not really that clear. There's a lot of bubbles in it, but whatever. So we're going to go ahead and apply this onto our cup. It's the same exact way that I would glitter a tumbler. If you prefer to use Mod Podge to apply your glitter, you could do that as well. Okay, we just want to make sure that we have this all covered. Get all inside the crevices of those letters and stuff. Make sure we get around the rim up here. Get the bottom as well. We also want to make sure that this is as smooth as we could get it. So not a lot of lines. You'll also notice that I did not use a lot of epoxy. So I mixed 5 milliliters, but we used less than 1. You can see here that we have just enough to coat the cup. Now I'm ready to apply my glitter. I'm going to use Lazy Daze from PG Olive Glitters. I think it's such a pretty yellow. It's got a lot of different color sparkles in it. I think it's just so cute. All right, and since I'm using just a single color today, we could really let it rip. Once I've got my cup covered, I'm just going to tap it off really well with my scissors. And then we'll double check it in the light to make sure we don't have any sparse areas and we got good coverage throughout. I'm gonna go over it just one more time to double check. Don't want to miss any spots. All right, and I'd say we look pretty good. So again, we're going to tap off the excess, and then I'm going to pull my tape. Okay, we're going to discard that tape. If at this time you wanted to remove that excess paint, you could do that. To remove any of that excess paint, we're just going to use a little bit of acetone and a paper towel. And we'll just clean that up really quick. Comes right off. We're going to clean this up again at the very end, but just to make it look nice for you. All right, once we have this all done, I'm going to let it dry upside down on my drying rack for at least an hour, hour and a half or so before we apply our first coat of epoxy.
All right, you guys, so for this first coat of epoxy over glitter, I've got 30 milliliters of epoxy mixed. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it on like I normally would. You'll notice that I didn't replace the tape up at the top. That's because this jar has like a lip before the threads start up at the top. And we're going to take our epoxy right up to that lip. And it's not really going to go any further past that, all right? It's kind of like a natural boundary line for the jar. If you don't trust yourself to like carefully get it up to that point, you can go ahead and tape off again, but it's pretty easy just to make sure that you don't go past beyond that point, and the epoxy is not going to travel over that lip on its own, okay? Also, I didn't seal my glitter because we just have one color, so I just tapped off the excess really well and we were good to go. I let that first layer dry for 2 to 3 hours. And then I went straight in for my second coat. Keep in mind, I'm using a fast setting epoxy. Most regular drying epoxies would be like a 4 to 6 hour dry time on that first layer before you can go into the second layer. I let that second layer dry for 8 to 12 hours before we moved on to the next step. While our epoxy is drying, I'm going to show you how to create the lids for these. So these canning lids come just like this, with the little screwy part and then the flat part that goes inside it. I don't know the technical term for that. And we need to punch a hole through the middle of it for our straw. So I'm using a 1/2 inch grommet punch. I'll link the one that I have down below. Mine's super old, so I have to beat it with a hammer really hard. It's not really sharp anymore, but you don't need all the other pieces that will come in this grommet kit. You just need this one grommet punch piece, okay? And I have my lid over like a 2x4 and I'm just pounding it really hard, holding it in the center as well as I can. You might want to have someone help you out with this, but it's not too bad. You just want to keep hammering away at it till it punches through that lid, and this is going to give us a really nice clean hole right through the center of our lid. So here we go. We've got a nice clean hole in the center, and then I am going to put a rubber grommet through the center. They make really pretty silicone grommets for this same purpose, but the silicone ones always ripped for me through my hole. I just didn't like them. They weren't as like substantial, I guess. So these are really nice. They're super inexpensive and they fit right in the hole. I will link all of these materials down below in the description box. I thought it would be cool to include 2 lids with, you know, whoever I was going to give this to, just in case they didn't want to use like the lid with all the ice. They have an extra lid for just everyday daily use. I'm going to sand the inner well of my lid just with like a 60 grit sanding block, just enough to rough up this metal so our glue has something nice to adhere to when we go to put on our ice. After I get this all sanded up, I'm just going to clean it off with some acetone. And now we're ready to apply our ice. I got these acrylic vase filler ice cube things from Amazon. They were pretty inexpensive and it comes with a whole bag of them. It also has these weird like red rose petals in them for some reason, whatever. And then I got these lime or lemon wedges from Amazon as well. And we are going to start by putting the lemon wedge on first. I want to do this just so I have like a clear idea of like how much room I have for the ice. You also want to keep in mind that we can't make anything too big to where that outer rim of our lid can't fit over it. All right, so keep that in mind when you're like positioning everything and planning on where you're going to put stuff. I'm using a high temp glue gun with all temp glue sticks. So we definitely want super, super hot glue. This is going to give us a really strong bond to our lid. I'm sure low temp glue would work fine too. I just don't trust it as much as I do super high temp glue. All right, so I'm going to put the lemon wedge in the center there so that we have plenty of room to fit the outer rim of our lid on later on. And then from here, it's kind of just like randomly gluing on the ice cubes. Once you get started, you'll get a feel for like how your placement will be. Again, you want to make sure that you're not like getting in the way of where your straw is going to go, or that you're building the ice cubes out too far to where you can't get that outer rim of the lid on, right? Okay, so we're just going to continue on till we get that lid all filled up with ice and it's pretty. And I gotta say, like once I started putting these ice cubes on, I started to get so excited at how cute this was. I love the idea of doing it on these inexpensive mason jars. I think you could make a whole bunch of these for like a party or maybe as a hostess gift. Bring them as a set because they're so quick and easy to make. All right, and so once we got all of our ice built up on there, I just went over it with my torch really quick or like a barbecue lighter to melt off any of the hairs from your hot glue gun. You definitely don't want to leave any of those behind. And then you want to make sure, of course, that the outer rim of your lid can fit over everything that you did. And mine just snaps into place really nicely. Next, I'm going to show you guys how I created the decal for this design. I've already loaded my design into Cricut Design Space. I got this design from Happy Fox Supply Co., which I will have linked down below. I also have a discount code for them as well. I'm going to size this to 3 inches. This is a print and cut design, so it's designed to print and then it'll cut around the image. But I want to duplicate this, and the reason why is I want to cut one out of just plain white vinyl, and then I want to print one with water slide, and I want them both to be the same size so I can layer my clear water slide over my white vinyl. So after we duplicated it, I took one of them and I made it just a basic cut. And then for some reason this file has some like unnecessary cuts included, so I'm going to select the plain one, my duplicate one, and I'm going to go to contour, and then I'm going to select all the weird unnecessary cuts. So all I should have left is just this basic bracketed frame. Okay, and then once I'm done with that, I am going to cut one of these with white vinyl, which is this plain gray one here, and then I'm going to print the lemonade label through Cricut Design Space like I'm going to print and cut it, but I'm not really. I'm just going to print it through Cricut Design Space. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I don't like using printable vinyl. If you wanted to use printable vinyl for this instead, you totally could. I just think you get really like more vibrant results from clear water slide, and it's super easy with an image of this size to do it this way. So I'm going to optimize my print settings. You want to turn off the bleed feature, and then you want to select use system print dialog. And then you will optimize your print options based on whatever kind of printer you have. So everybody's printer has different options here. Mine is photo printing. And then we want to change the paper type to luster or semi-gloss. The size of the paper will be A4 because we're printing this on a water slide sheet. And then the print standard will be high, or print quality will be high. Okay, so we're going to print that on our clear water slide. And then we've got our white vinyl that we've cut out of just regular permanent white vinyl. All right, and then I'm going to apply this to my cup like I would any other decal. All right, we're gonna measure twice, so we only have to cut once. Make sure we got everything on there nice and straight. And then once I've got this white vinyl on here, I'm ready to move on to my water slide. Now, because our background color is not white and it's yellow, you would have a hard time seeing that clear water slide through the glitter. That's why we're laying that white piece down first. Okay, so here's our water slide. I've already printed it and I've sealed it 3 times with clear Rust-Oleum clear gloss spray paint. And I'm going to soak it in this bowl of room temperature water for a few minutes until my water slide slides right off the paper backing. We're going to use the paper backing to moisten the area. And then we're just going to slide it right off the paper onto our white vinyl. We want to line this up as well as we can. And then I'm going to use my silicone brush to squeegee out any bubbles or wrinkles. We're going to do this very gently because we do not want to disturb the placement of our water slide, because we want to make sure that it aligns perfectly with that vinyl shape that we put underneath. This is a great technique to use if you need to place water slide over dark backgrounds or what have you. I absolutely love doing it this way because the colors are always so vibrant and there's a lot of versatility to this type of application and the colors that you can apply it to. All right, and then once I got this all smoothed out nicely, I just kind of dabbed off any remaining excess water. And then I let this dry for about a half hour before I started to apply my final coat of epoxy. I've got 20 milliliters of Amazing Clear Cast here. This is just Alumilite's regular formula. And I'm gonna let this dry for about 8 to 12 hours before I mess with it. All right, so now my cup has been drying overnight and I'm ready to clean it up because we're done. So I'm going to use a craft knife to pop off any kind of excess epoxy that might have made its way up above that lip there. There's really not a lot. There's just like a couple little giblets here and there. So we're just going to pop that off with our knife. Super easy to get it off. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and some acetone and just clean up that top rim, any kind of excess paint that might be there. Be careful not to get any acetone on your actual like epoxy and glitter because that would not be good. All right, and then I'm also going to spray down the inside of my cup with a little bit of rubbing alcohol just to clean out any kind of excess debris that might be in there. I'm going to take my cup over to my kitchen sink and we're going to wash this out with some power wash and my Scrub Daddy. Make sure it's nice and clean for our friends. We don't want to have any nasties in there. I'm going to rinse this off and then dry it off with paper towels, and then I want to show you guys how cute this looks with its lid. All right, so I'm just going to add in this cute little stainless steel straw. I got these on Amazon. I think they're the perfect straws for this project. And remember that that top piece of the lid is separate from the part that screws on, so you can kind of like change the position of your lid to make sure that that lemon slice makes sense on where it's positioned, if that makes sense. But anyway, I hope you guys love this video. I had so much fun making these. Let me know what you thought in the comments. If you like my video, please be sure to give us a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a new video. I upload every Wednesday and Saturday. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. And a big thank you to all of our Flynn Sisters exclusive members. Thank you for your pledge. Your support means the world to our channel. If you love this video, you could check out our last video here. Also be sure to find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course subscribe for all our new videos that come out every Wednesday and Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.